is a big idea, a new world order.
G'day and welcome to the Conspiracy Podcast. My name's Josh Wade. On today's episode, I have one of my favourite comedians, Amos Gill. How you going, buddy?
Good, mate. This is the Conspiracy?
Conspiracy.
Right.
Yeah.
Do I have to go Alex Jones on this?
No. See, I've said it a few times on this. I said my biggest regret so far, we're only like 20 episodes in, is naming it Conspiracy because it automatically disqualifies anything that you say.
Because I've taken some notes here.
Oh, if you want to go.
The pedophile ring!
Oh, okay. No, we can go into that. I don't.
Nothing. I just know there's a pizza shop, there's some pedophiles.
Some guy fucking went in with a shotgun.
Anthony
and
Weiner. I don't know what else. Yeah, that's a
Wienergate.
shotgun.
Mate, I'm telling you, go look this up now because I saw this video of Trump in 2011 talking about Wienergate and then he brings up Pizzagate before Pizzagate was even
What,
a
in
thing.
2011?
2011. Trump brings up Pizzagate on CNN
knows.
before it was a thing. He fucking knows.
He wins this culture war.
Anyway, all right, let's get into it. Amos, tell us, just so before, because we're going to go pretty deep this episode, I guess.
Okay.
You've got a lot of, you're a very funny dude. You've got a lot of opinions on things, and I think opinions are fucking great. Too many cunts are scared to share them. So, where did you grow up, and how did you get into comedy?
I grew up in country South Australia,
Mm-hmm.
a place called Renmark.
Mm-hmm.
We have a big orange there out the front. That's our big thing, orange. And then my family moved down to Adelaide. Mum's from Croatia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you had a Serb on here the other week, didn't you?
Did we?
Yeah, didn't you have some like $40 million kid?
Oh, yeah, fucking
What's
Nick,
his name?
Nick Merkovic.
Yeah, I was looking through this show and I was like, man, I got nothing for
Yeah.
this kid. Like,
Me neither. He's fucking a year younger than me.
what does he do? I hate to go into his life.
High Smile. So it's like a teeth whitening brand, but it was sort of, they started it just before everyone was posting the detox shit and stuff like
Right.
that. They were one of the people that started that, and just, now
But
everyone's
I read
copying.
like the top comment was just like, oh my God, this is so good for the Serbian community. And I was like, it's time for the Croats. Get there, go. But so I came up from a family that was like, my grandparents don't really speak English, but my dad's family are like, farmers from out in the Riverland.
Yeah.
People who honestly say stuff like, why would you ever leave Renmark? Why? What for? What have they got out there, mate?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Full country.
Full country people. And then I went to private school, and so I'm like, my family's fuckwit, Like I'm the great white hope of like,
mix.
only person who went to university in my family.
Yeah.
Are you like, you university?
Nah.
No.
So I was, I'd always said to myself, because I went to a private school as well, but I went to a public school in primary school, and no one in my family had passed grade 10, I don't think. And it was like, for me I got to halfway through grade 12 and dropped out. More of a fuck you to my parents because I'd
We
spent all
beat
this
them by
money.
2 years as well.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, fucking
Gotcha.
suck on that. Look at us now. I'm using fucking city council, fucking ex-city council podcast gear. So I don't know if it was similar, but did you finish university or did you
No,
just...
I've gone back and I'm doing
Okay.
it now,
Oh, yeah,
which has
you-
been interesting, just noticing the difference between uni in about 2008 to 2012 to now.
Right.
How little they yell at you or demand things of you and say things like, hey, look, if you guys are not comfortable with that workload, call me and we can renegotiate that.
Really? Is
Whereas
that they do that?
That is really happening. Or if you're doing criminal law and they say, look, there's rape in today's criminal law case, so if this is distressing for everybody, you don't have to attend.
Don't be a fucking lawyer. Like,
It's
what?
like, yeah,
What?
good luck on the Snowtown case.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry I can't represent you because there was a murder and a rape,
Yeah.
and that offends me and my safe space.
Yeah.
So I can't learn about that. So that was a strange thing. But yeah, I'd go back to like family dues. I studied law, and all my cousins would be like, so what's the theory of relativity? I'm like, I don't know. I'm a dumb fuck. Like I study law. Well, you're wasting your money if you don't know that then. You go, uni doesn't teach you everything.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You don't suddenly pick up all of the world's smarts. And then I just dropped out, did kids television on ABC 3.
Oh,
which
what
was-
did you do on there?
It was a show called Wacky World Beaters.
Like, what? That sounds like a gay porno.
It was. Okay, yeah, it's part of this new sort of cultural Marxism where we teach kids that it's okay. So
This is going to be good.
we just had sex all around the world. Now, I was me and this chick, and we just like competed for Australia around the world, did that. Then I got into commercial radio, which
Yeah.
is where I've been for 3 years in Adelaide,
Yeah.
where it's like 3 minutes of get it done, get to a break. And so for podcasts, it's like you guys get to actually go somewhere.
Yeah. Well, so this is what I find interesting about you, and with your stand-up comedy as well. is you're living in a world that I didn't go into. You went the real traditional way of doing
I think
it.
I was like the last one through
Yeah.
the traditional door.
Yeah, but you're the way that your comedy is and that, and obviously with your opinions and that, it doesn't necessarily fit a commercial.
No, not at all.
Main what you would expect it
Because
to be.
when I was coming home, I saw like every comedian went through. They did stand up, they did the festival circuit,
Yeah.
and then you go on to like commercial radio or Triple J,
Yeah.
and then you go on like the Glass House or the Project, and that's your life. You wear a jacket over a plain t-shirt.
Yep.
You've got really nice hair with a bit of a fade.
Yeah.
And then you kind of play game shows for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's what I
just-
wanted to be.
Yeah, I mean, me too, but I went, oh, hold on, I'm in a dead medium. This is all collapsing. And then you, Alex, Frenchie all popped up. And it's like you just circumvented the entire mainstream system. And everyone rode you guys off and was just like, yeah, no, but they, it's not real. That won't translate to anything. They're just saying cunt.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's all it is. And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and all these other comedians be like, they're not even funny. Like, it's just like, yeah, I'm a fucking bagging cunt. And then it's like, he's got 5,000 people at a show tonight. You're playing at 8 people.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
are you in this to make people laugh, or are you just going through the step-by-step establishment
Yeah.
process
Yeah.
to make yourself feel better? Because I guess you do want to like prove to yourself or your parents this is a real thing. I think
Yeah.
half the reason I did commercial radio was like, hey, Dad, I'm not a fuck up. Look, I'm on a tram.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
This is the real deal.
Because
I don't have to be a lawyer.
Yeah, well, exactly, and you don't need to finish like in a world that we live in now. Anything really is a possibility. Like if you want to run a business, you don't have to go and fucking study. And like any fuckwit can start a business, but I think there's a different mindset behind it. With the comedy stuff, like I've often heard that criticism a lot of everyone and myself, and for me at least, I didn't choose for comedy at that time and at this time to be where it is. It was just like, well, that's what everyone
Well, you
seems
lived
to be
in, you lived
responding
in
to.
Townsville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like you've got, the Comics Lounge in Melbourne here or
Yeah. Yeah, it's
comedy
the only way
clubs.
to
Like
get
you got
out.
the internet
Yeah.
and you muck around on the internet
Yep.
and you upload your videos.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
raw and real of what you're doing.
But it's seems to be a little bit of a different uphill battle. But at the same time, it's very what I know about myself. It's very easy to live in your own little bubble as well. So it's important for me to get out and do what you have done the entire time. Just get up in front of people that don't know who you are, that don't give a fuck who you are, that aren't paying to necessarily see you.
Yeah, there's something to getting formal skills and doing gigs and learning things to be able to apply it to your own thing. But
Yep.
the ultimate goal should be to do this, where you just do your own, because I've done commercial radio for 3 years now, and I've probably had to do, 3 or 4 apologies, or, you go to talk about a topic and it's like, let's not go there. And that's fine, I get it. When I first started, I was like, burn the establishment down.
Yeah.
I'm going to change commercial radio. And
Yeah.
then 3 years in, and like, God knows how many 4 a.m. alarms, you're like, what do you want me to say? Yep, I'll try and be as funny as I can. I get it.
Right. So that's how that happens? Because when we first started this, I was like, there's so many things I want to talk about. Like everyone emails me about do Pizzagate, do this, do that, and I'm like, yeah, I am aware that it is a thing, and it's not necessarily a conspiracy, but I can't be too fucking like I'm not going to change it. I'd love to. I'd love to think so, but
There's this thing where a lot of comedians will rail on commercial radio. I've got nothing but thanks for it. I got a good job, but everyone goes, man, they don't let you talk about these things. It's not that they won't let you talk about them. It's that you got 4 minutes to get to a song and plug some tiling business.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, do I really want to raise this? I've got 4 minutes to try and get it, be mildly entertaining. You're going to talk about lizard people and, the Illuminati and then go, anyway, this is Justin Bieber's new one. You just lose all credibility.
yeah, you do. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
you do.
even when you talk about a serious issue on the show and then you're throwing to something ludicrous. And so after a while you just go, let's just do some fun stuff and leave podcasts, which I listen to more often than not, to actually getting a deeper discussion about stuff.
Yeah. What I find is interesting is I don't think it's necessarily radio's dead. People still love consuming audio.
Yeah.
If anything, the pendulum's swinging back this way. And
I love
like,
I sit in my bed and put on through the UE boom or whatever and just listen to a Joe Rogan or I'll listen to a Sam Harris or something and go, this is overtaken television for me.
yeah,
I've got this relationship with this dude in my head
yeah,
where you genuinely feel like you know them so well.
yep,
But there's also that problem that I get, which is I'll listen to heaps of podcasts and then I'll get into arguments with someone. And I'm like, I've got all of those great arguments in my head. and then you're like, shut up, cunt.
Yeah.
Like, where was the argument?
yeah.
Like I thought I knew it, and then you just start saying random words that you don't really understand and go, I haven't actually grasped this.
Yeah.
Which is why you need that formal education as well. You realise that everyone who's actually any good has put the time in. There's no substitute for actually doing your work, doing your research. You can't just listen to podcasts and
Yep.
go, I'll just rephrase someone else's argument.
Yeah, well, we had a dude on here. We did an episode about feminism, and he
Mm-hmm.
sort of just came on, and he was maybe 19 or something.
Yeah.
And he'd wrote an article at Bond University, and he said it caused a little bit of, backlash, and he found himself in a little bit of a spotlight that I don't know if he asked to be in, but he wrote an article. And he wanted to come on. I said, "Fuck, all right, we don't have anyone this week, so whatever. Come on the show. Come over. Here's my
It's good to
address."
see that I'm on a show with such high acclaim. Turns out I was just available.
We found Amos on the street, and he just happened to be a public figure. But when we started talking to him, I realised quite quickly that this was a dude that I think had maybe watched one or two Milo lectures and then sort of agreed with it, but then had never gone into really pulling out some statistics and numbers, and like there was just no, like you just said.
Yeah, there's no substance behind it, and that was me for 100% of my growing up. Till I'm 26. That was my uni days or whatever, and I started off, I think, really, really left because it was like it simply felt like the
Me
right
too.
thing to do. So everybody starts off with that. There is injustice in the world. I know it's there. We know some of the people. Like I've even got cousins who I'm like, man, that dude's like he's rotten. Like it's really like he's a racist dude or whatever. And then you go, okay, I'm going to go and fight that. These are bad people everywhere. And then you start to hate on absolutely everything that you get to university, which is, every lecturer seems to hate Western civilization and all white people. And you go, yeah, we've done so many terrible things. And that just piles on and piles on. And then you look 4 or 5 years later and you go, I am incredibly, one, leftist, but two, I started thinking anyone who was a conservative was a moron. And the thing that shook me up, it was only like a year ago that I watched Ben Shapiro do a debate. I didn't really know who he was. I just fell across it. And I'm watching it and I was like, this guy is so dumb. Like, he's dumb. And then I looked into him and I was like, hold on, he's top of his class Harvard Law and I'm pass average at Adelaide University Law.
Yep.
And I'm going to sit here just because he has a different opinion to me and say, he's dumb. And then I realised, no, he's not dumb. He's incredibly smart with a different viewpoint. But we're in this age where anyone who doesn't agree with us therefore has to be stupid or evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I caught it in myself and went, I've become a bigot.
Yep.
And I need to go back and look on the facts on every single case, because you get into this groupthink mentality where you're like, well, maybe I agree with gay marriage, and so therefore I also have to agree that capitalism is evil. I have to listen to whatever the trans movement is saying about gender reassignment surgery for 6-year-olds. That's all okay. I can't challenge that point of view. I can't challenge any view on immigration. And you're like, no, I should probably analyze every issue to have my own belief and stop just soaking in what I feel is like comfortable and cool.
Yep, I agree. I will talk about the team politics and that soon, because I've had that. I had a similar experience, very, very similar experience, where growing up, my family were, they were hard workers. They were Labor voters, and it was sort of like this thing where it was like you had to be one or the other, and you did what your parents did. It was not questioned or asked. And I remember sitting down and watching Sky News or whatever with my grandparents, and I'd listen to them and obviously being in entertainment industry as well, most of us, most creatives at least, seem to be quite left leaning. And I was for gay marriage and all that, but the exact same thing happened. The election came, and it seemed to be so polarizing that I realized I am actually allowed to agree with one thing, but then disagree with another thing. Sometimes the things that my team may be for are shit.
I'm not with it. And it's like that's the thing that we hate about politicians is you watch someone talking about a policy that in their heart they don't agree with, but it's the team line and they play it, and that's why people get so disheartened with it, is because they go, look at this motherfucker. He doesn't. There's no way he believes it. Like Malcolm Turnbull does not like the postal plebiscite. Malcolm Turnbull has just got to that position. That's the agreement his party's made, and that might be leadership for his party.
Yep.
But as an individual, you go, do I really have to go out and push this? Like, I've got friends who I know would disagree with that, but then they soak in the team line, and then they just come out arguing, and they can, even if you can make rational arguments for it, you go, is that what you believe?
Yeah.
Or you just want your team to win?
You can see it when they have those arguments. Like you see them lying through their
You
teeth.
see
And
the
it doesn't
face.
take long to. It just takes a basic understanding of psychology to know when you're duping someone. What do you think? Did you see the video that came out yesterday of Tony Abbott with if the vote for gay marriage? If you vote no for gay
Yeah.
marriage, it's a vote against
Freedom of
political
speech.
correctness, and just like a bunch of other issues that obviously are topical and people are for, but it was sort of like you're throwing a bunch of other shit in
Well,
the mix.
that just bothered me because I'm like, one, I'm a huge advocate of freedom of speech, almost like a free speech fundamentalist.
Yes, me
So,
too.
no, Tony.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
not mean that you're going against. It just felt like a vindictive thing. Like, let's just strike back
Yep.
at these people and go, this is a win for for anti-PC, and it's like that is not the point of the anti-PC thing.
Yeah, yeah. You're actually doing it even more of a disservice. Well, the other thing is he's looking old. He sounds older.
Look at what about his sister? Did
Oh.
you see his sister come out?
Yeah.
When she was like, "Oh, look, I love him, but his arguments are pretty flimsy." And you go, "Yeah, they're incredibly flimsy," because it's like, dude, just say I'm a Catholic.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Don't go, it's a freedom of, like, don't come into like the libertarian territory of freedom of speech. Just go, I'm a Catholic, gays, yucky yuck.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
I hate bum sex. It freaks me out. That just at least be honest. At least a footy club homophobe is like, I reckon puffs are weird. I don't like it.
That's
Rather
it.
than like,
Yep.
I have more respect for someone that goes, look, do what you want, but you're strange to me and I reckon it's gross.
Yep.
Than someone who's like, it threatens freedom of speech. It's like, don't try and make this academic. You're just a homophobe.
Yep.
Just run with the truth.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, I don't like homophobes, but at least people are holding intellectual honesty there rather than hiding behind nonsense.
Yeah, silly arguments. And don't forget, this is a guy that is best mates with old Cardinal Pell as well, and went up and defended him quite a few times on Q&A and different little pieces that I'd seen, and I think to myself, man, they must have known. They must have known this entire fucking time.
You
And who
reckon?
know?
I did a gig in Geelong recently, and I did like a Cardinal Pell joke, and I've never felt a room so quiet. And then everyone was like, "Some people know him." And I
Fuck
went,
them.
Yeah. Well, not he shouldn't have.
No,
They
yeah.
were.
No, but like,
Fuck him, Cardinal. I did.
yeah,
Repeatedly.
he did. Don't you remember? No, you don't.
A lot of wine that day.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. All right. But yeah. What? Because I don't.
Do you think when he puts it in their mouths, he said the
Oh.
body of Christ? Does anyone?
Because
That was that was the first attention I ever got was at confirmation, and I was getting my communion, and he said the body of Christ, and I must have only been like year 8 or something, and I was like, what part of the body? Because they always give you that communion,
Yeah.
and the priest was like, it's just the symbolism of
Yeah.
symbolism of Jesus' body. I was like,
Yeah.
nah, but what bit? Because I don't want his gooch. I don't want to eat Jesus' gooch.
I don't know. Would you? Like, if Jesus Christ is real,
Yeah.
I would. In my personal belief, I think it's
It was
more
some dude.
mythology.
Yeah.
A
Some
story.
meta hero. Yeah.
Yep. But if he was real and he came, like I was speaking to this dude the other day, this tripped me the fuck out because I didn't think these people still existed, but they did, and I totally respect his opinion. Whereas once upon a time, I know I would have come from a place that just would have just shut him out, and
Yeah.
I just wouldn't listen to anything. But he picked me up from Sydney Airport. We were doing this shoot, and he was just the runner. And he said that he was studying at Bible college, and he was like a 20-year-old dude. Looked
It
pretty
is
certified.
honestly the only form of discrimination that you can possibly pull out of people that's still super acceptable is just be like, you like God? You're a freak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and that is my initial feelings. Like, I'm like, if you're a young person into Jesus,
Yeah.
like, into any religion,
yeah.
I go, what's wrong?
What happened
What
in
did
your
you-
childhood,
what
or
did
what
you-
did your parents tell
What did
you?
you miss?
Yeah.
How did you get out? Like,
Yeah.
But I've just had a friend become a Catholic again.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'll get into that in a second. But finish what you're saying.
Yeah. And he started talking about. I said, "Oh, so you're at Bible college?" I said, "So what are you studying?" And he sort of said he was doing ministry. I don't even know. There's just these Catholic words, and I said, "So we got into a bit of a conversation because it sparked me." I was like, "Fuck, this is awesome." I said, "Do you believe that like there's going to be a second coming of Jesus and like there will be a physical reincarnation?" He goes, "Yeah, I do." And in my head, I was sort of like, okay. I said, then I brought up, I said, so do you think homosexuality is a sin? And he sort of laughed because I think he didn't know how I was going to react to what he said. I said, no, it's all right. I'm not gay. Like, you can tell me what you think. And he goes, oh, yeah, well, the Bible says it's a sin. So, But he said at the same time, everyone has sin in them. So God says we're supposed to just love one another and not cast a stone and just, all that fucking gibberish crap.
Begat him to begat him and
Yeah,
whatever else.
yeah. And, but at the same time, he was extremely smart and coherent and knew what he was talking about very well. And that's what sort of, for me at least, I don't know how, like you said, what they miss in that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because my friend just became a Catholic, but that's more because I legitimately believe he's doing it. Because we had this massive discussion that we came up in the precipice of so the counterculture was like anti-Christianity, anti conservative politics, because it used to be conservatives that were like, you can't watch those kinds of movies, porno is bad, ban this, ban that. Video games that show shooting will lead to massacres because people can't control themselves. Yep. And now it's people on the left who are trying to censor stuff. And religion is so smashed in and kicked in that it is so strange for a young person to be religious. And yet now it's like the people on the left who are going, let's ban video games because there's sexist tropes in them, the Gamergate scandal. Yeah. And so it's now becoming counterculture to be conservative like a Milo or a Ben Shapiro. That if you want to really fuck with people now, you don't join like a punk band and put on leather and be like, fuck the church. Because it's like, you're kicking them while they're down. Yeah. He's already like, it's over. You guys won. Hollywood, everything is really, really left leaning. Yeah. If you want to genuinely be like a young punk now, put on a Make America Great Again hat and just watch how cool it is to walk down the street. You will have people screaming at you the entire time, which is what punks want. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not punk anymore.
It's so true.
To be anti-church. That battle is over. Yeah. And so he gets a kick out of it. He wears like a crucifix just so people go, what do you got a crucifix on for? It's like, because you just paid attention to me.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez, I've never fucking looked at it that way, but that is exactly spot on. That's what's going on. So, let's go back to, when you said that you were sort of very left-leaning and then you've sort of come out of it and gone, fuck, maybe I've been a hypocrite bigot this entire time. Do you know what the catalyst was? What was the first domino that went,
It was just watching him bring up various facts in a debate, maybe about the gender pay gap, or I forgot what else he was talking about, but I just went, my initial feeling was like, but those like a genuine thought is like, but those facts, like, we don't need to hear those facts. They're hurtful. What do they achieve by just pointing out those facts? And it's like, well, why would you ever say, I don't want to hear those facts? Because you should look at the facts and go, okay, there is a difference. For instance, so when he was doing gender pay gap, he was talking about the fact that some women, and majority of women, will choose to have a family. And so that's going to affect their earning capacity. Women don't want to do dangerous jobs like men do. They don't go down the mines as often. They don't do those dangerous jobs. So that's going to affect pay. And all these other factors. And I'm sitting there going, bro, they're conditioned as young girls to not want to work as much. And he's just pointing out various fact after fact after fact. And I went, how can I ignore these facts? How about look at the facts and then make real assertions out of them? Rather than just going, don't want to hear it, everybody is equal, everybody is equal. Yeah. If you don't think that women and men have the exact same like genetic makeup, then you are a bigot. Yeah. And I went, I've been wrong about this. I've probably been wrong about almost everything.
Yeah, I know what you just said then. I've listened to that exact speech that he's made. And that made me question a lot of things, especially at the time, because I'd sort of seen him after the election had started and everything. And I was in America at the time that I remember seeing Trump come down the stairs and do that thing. And me and my roommate was just sort of sitting in front of the television like, is this like for real? Like, this is a piss take. It's just a PR thing. It's a good one, but it's not for real. Yeah. And if he does, then it can't get far. Surely not. Because I lived in a bubble. I lived in this little world of just there's no possibility. And then, I found Bernie Sanders, and at the time I was sort of this weed-smoking dude that had just started finding,
And you can attach to Bernie because he feels like he's, again, real. He's saying something that he feels like he believes.
Yeah, and I felt like, equality for all, and, fuck the banks, fuck, billionaires and stuff like that. But the pendulum started to swing, and I started to realise, well, fuck, I don't really want to be paying that much tax. Fuck them. They've done nothing right. They've fucked everything up. Like, then I started to find that there was actually more than just two sides of of having a political brain. Like, you're actually allowed to be whatever the fuck you want and believe you can be left on one issue and totally fucking conservative on a total different thing, and that's okay.
I think a lot of people started getting pushed away. I mean, let's be honest. If you're like a straight white guy, you have original sin, like in the church, because there is like the
Yep.
church of social justice where
Yep.
you are born as a white person with your privilege,
Yep.
and therefore, you know, almost your opinion is, well, you can't really have an opinion because how can you speak about anything because you've never faced?
Yep.
And I just think, I look at stuff like that and I go, you don't know every individual person's story, and what should win is just the best answer. Logic should always win.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
just because you're a Muslim transgender woman in a wheelchair does not mean that you can't have your opinion unquestioned just because you've faced so much adversity.
What if you're a Muslim transsexual in a wheelchair and you're also a fucking idiot?
Well, you
Like,
should be the
are you
president.
allowed to be? Well, yeah, you probably
You can't,
would be.
but you can't. Yeah, but you can't be wrong because of that intersectionality stuff.
Yeah.
And you start to see all of those things, and everyone will honestly. When I went back to university, and you'd be talking about things that go, ugh, like people would openly say, ugh, straight white dude with an opinion.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
automatically dismissed. Now, I can also appreciate, though, when people go, yeah, you know, straight white male privilege,
Yeah.
that, yeah, we probably do come out with a little bit of a step forward than most other places.
But here's the thing, without doubt, the only thing is, it's like just look to individual people as are they a good person or not a good person.
Their arguments are based on exactly what they're fighting for,
Exactly,
which
that
is
boxing you in.
boxing you into a thing. Yeah, exactly.
It always astounds me how many of those people are just, I've always felt hateful. I don't know whether they had a bad time at school. They hate establishment because maybe they didn't feel accepted into it. And so when they get any position of power at universities, the first thing they like to do is they love to gang up on people and they purge them. That's like that Puritan thing. They're like, you've said the wrong thing. We're going to come after you so hard and we're going to bully you like we were bullied.
Yeah.
It's a weird power trip. Like there's a guy at my uni who, he wasn't terribly picked on at school. We always got on well. I was like a football player and a debating person. We're in the debating team.
Yep.
And he's probably nerdier than me. But when we got to university, I
Don't
remember
box him in.
he just lost himself into like the union movement. He became a Young Greens person and he was very politically active, and that was fine. And then he'd like lost his sense of humor where any joke would be like, that's really sexist. I find that problematic. My favorite word that's ever existed. That's really problematic. And the worst thing about this dude was he would make all these claims about how nasty men were when he was giving speeches, but he was cheating on his high school girlfriend the entire time. And I remember he picked up one of our friends and was like, that stand-up joke you do is it's really sexist. And I was just like, dude, you're cheating on your girlfriend. Like, the only woman that you have any control over the well-being of, you are fucking over.
Yep.
You are making her miserable. She's always crying. So it's all well and good for you to talk about these grand concepts of feminism and this is sexism, that is sexism. But what you can actually control, you are a pig.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't want to hear your opinion. How about rather than changing everyone else, sweep up your own backyard and try and be a proper gentleman?
Yep.
Rather than, I don't know whether it's because he felt guilty about stuff, but he was always picking on every other dude. And it's like, I'm not cheating on my girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'd have the balls to break up with her if I want to sleep with other people.
Do you think that like it's almost like the root of the entire problem comes back to something where we as human beings want to feel some sort of moral superiority, feel like we're the righteous one, and that person, and that comes back to, well, my idea is right and your idea is wrong. And
well, did you see what's that Denzel Washington movie?
Which
Remember
one?
the Titans.
Yes.
Right, and so you're always afraid that you're going to be on the wrong side of history when you're a young person. You're like, man, I don't want to be, whether it's the new trans issue or whatever it is, you're like, I don't want to be that white girl in a Cadillac who's just like, you want to hang out with the black folk, and you're watching that movie and you're like, how could anyone have ever been like that? So we're so hyper aware, like, I don't want to be on the wrong side when they make some movie for
Yep.
you know, the Disney Channel. I'm going to be like perceived as the bad guy.
Yeah.
So everyone wants to, when they're young, win over some cause.
Yeah.
But the older I get, the more I think I don't want to push any. Like, I'm not fighting any other cause anymore, other than I'm trying to be less of a piece of shit every day.
Yeah.
If people only were like, how am I though? You know, I'm going to sit here and say capitalism is the worst system ever. We need to end all of, you know, the white patriarchy and the privilege. How about in the next 24 hours, don't be a complete monster in your own world. And if everyone was tidying up their own garden, because everyone wants to fix the world, no one wants to fix back at home.
No. Nah, it's very
So
easy. It's very
take
easy
some
to
responsibility for yourself.
externalize all your problems.
Yeah,
onto
all the world's problems are out there.
Mm.
How about you start conquering the ones that you can control?
Yep.
Which is the fact that you are boring, you're stupid, you're opinionated. I'm talking about myself here.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like fix yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I think. Well, here's a good thing that has kind of unrelated but sort of related, just about the schooling system and just life in general. I heard. Have you ever seen the Gary Vaynerchuk dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Like, part of me makes me laugh because I see such a comedic character, and I go, "Why? You know, that's
He would be on The Simpsons for
yeah,
sure.
yeah." But at the same time, as well, Tony Robbins and all them. My auntie, she's really into them, and when I first came across that, I was like, "This is all bullshit. It's con man stuff." And I started watching the Gary V stuff because it kept coming up on my newsfeed, and I was sort of like, "Well, actually, I get what he's saying. I can take something from it, and I think it's a really cool thing." But he did say something that was really profound to me. Was in society we spend so much time with our children that focusing on what they're not good at and trying to improve things that they're not good at instead of finding things that they are really, really good at and then putting 110% into those few good things. Because as humans, man, I'm only probably really good and stand out for myself in one or two different fields. Other than that, I'm shit at maths, I'm shit at all these other things. Do you think it's like this thing where we're constantly trying to fix fucking everything, whereas we're not just focusing on the things that we actually have a chance
If
fixing?
you're probably being a specialist, you'll have a better run in a career than if you're a generalist. You know, if you're good at a range of things. Like I remember that feeling of being like 23 and being like, I seem to have spent a lot of my life doing like, I want to be really good at footy. I want to be a good actor. I want to be a good lawyer. And I'm like, I'm now very average at all of these things. I just wish I just devoted all of my time to being a comedian.
Yeah.
Because, people only care about who's the best at stuff. No one ever goes, you're averaging 6 for everything, which means you're the winner because you've got the most 6 out of 10s.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that keeps everyone at a certain level where the ones that do understand what you've just said then can rise above, because it's like, well, no one else, no one's challenging you because everyone's trying to fucking...
And everyone who's any good at anything is a freak. Like, you have to become a single-minded weirdo who's just...
Yep.
Like, that's what I worked about in the media. All these people that go, oh, he's really difficult to work with, or she's a diva. And then you meet them and you're like, yeah, it's because these other people who are their producers and whatnot are regular, normal people. And they're dealing with, like, some people who have super talent. And they're like, she's so demanding. It's like, yeah, because she's good and you are shit.
Yeah.
And you can't keep up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people always be like, oh, that bloke, he's a bit, he's a bit full on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's what it takes.
I look at, like, Justin Bieber, and with that dude, it's like, by this time in his career, I mean, he's been going since probably, like, 12 or whatever. Show business wise, that dude would know the ins and outs of everything. He would understand contracts and everything. Maybe not, he'd have a lawyer look over it, but he would understand what everything means and the inner workings of how the game works. But that dude at the same time, in a similar way to Michael Jackson, probably just doesn't understand any other facet of life. He hasn't had to live any other facet of life. Like, he posted some apology about him finishing tour, and there was spelling mistake. Like, it was just grammatically like, holy shit, this guy really only knows what he knows, and that's it.
What's that? My cousin is tried to be a professional tennis player and got out of school at year 9.
Holy mother of fuck.
And she'll be like, I've done a good thing today. And I'm like, you better get that serve down the tee at 200 k's an hour.
Oh, shit.
Or you are in trouble.
Because she'll be doing bad thing all the times. Yeah.
You done a bad.
Jeez, fuck, what were we talking? Oh, I also heard that, like, Beyonce, a lot of people say Beyonce is really demanding.
I hate Beyonce.
You don't like Beyonce?
No,
Is that because she's a black woman?
I hate the idea of Beyonce. I'm sure Beyonce is a lovely lady.
Yeah.
And if she wasn't so bigged up, I would like Beyonce.
Yeah.
But I can't take that every woman on the planet is like, Beyonce is our queen.
Like Eve.
She's our queen. Yeah. She's an untouchable person. She's so woke. She knows everything. Beyonce's the greatest artist of all time. It's like, she sings some songs and dances around. Nice hero.
Yeah.
Like, is there anyone else that you guys could have picked?
She's the female Drake.
I'd rather Gina Reinhardt.
Yeah.
That bitch gets shit done. Like, she's a rich billionaire.
Yeah.
People love Beyonce. And look, she's fine. It's just, how, like, girls be like, do what Beyonce does.
Yeah,
That's always
I
my
know.
least favorite
Yeah.
thing is like, you know what? what would Beyonce do? And it's like, I don't know, Beyonce would make an album. You work at like a nail salon. Like, nothing kills me more than girls on Instagram. I'm just thinking, what would Bey do? She's got talent, so she would turn her bad day into a great song. You can maybe do a fancy Diamante on a nail. They're not relatable. That's like me going, what would Brad Pitt do? Look handsome with good cheekbones.
Yeah.
I'm a fat-faced Slavic loser. I shouldn't be asking that question.
Well, celebrity. So going to where did you? Well, you've got some things there, but I just want to quickly ask, where do you like with comedy, but just show business in general? Where do you want to go? Do you want to be acting in movies, and how do you think that will be? Because I question myself with this a lot. Is how am I going to be able to play in a field now that I know how it sort of works and that I don't necessarily fit the mold that they're looking for?
No, I just want to be like, probably Bill Burr is my model kind of person. I just want to do stand-up in America. You just get to say what you want. I've done acting and I'm terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I really thought I could be a good comedic actor, and I worked on this film set once, and I spent the whole time, so they put down like sticky tape where you're meant to stand, and I spent every minute of that shoot just being like, where's that fucking tape?
Yeah, okay.
I was standing on the tape, and they're like, people are like, I've got into my character, and all I ever thought was, when's me line?
What's my line?
Is it my time?
Yeah.
What's the line?
Yeah.
Like, I have no
It's not
skills.
natural.
No,
I'm
not
exactly
natural
the
at all.
same.
And you got to do it again and again and again. And you're working with actors, and they're the worst. I was doing this like web series for Fox Footy, and all the actors were like, "This is important work we're doing." Are you kidding?
I find, like, for actors at least, because with comedy, it's you and that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
You have to develop you to being somewhat like palatable. Whereas they're a character.
Yeah. But they seem to be more self-indulgent in general. I'm not saying every actor. I would have thought that comedians would be more self-indulgent, but actors really, when they make jokes at awards ceremonies about actors being important, when you see it, they're not kidding. Like, there's a real. Do you think that's because society has placed that?
Yeah,
on a
they're
pedestal?
like mythical people to us.
Yeah.
They're our heroes.
Yeah.
We really have painted them to be the leaders of the tribe.
Yep.
And I hate that we value their opinion whatsoever. Like, when I have a music guest on, sometimes I'll have someone, a producer go, ask Zara Larsson about Trump's transgender ban. I'm like, oh yeah, this Swedish 19-year-old pop star is going to have the hottest take of the day. But people just keep asking them stuff. We heard you tweet it out the other day that you don't like Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Why is that, Katy Perry? Love and is so important, and he does not love everybody.
That is a fucking excellent impression of Katy Perry, by the way.
But it's just like, why do we care about that person's take? And it's no wonder the general public, no wonder things like Trump happen, because it's like, why are you making me listen to a pop star lecture about how I should live my life? When after the Manchester bombings happen, and people like Katy Perry say things like, we should have no borders. And you go, why do you live in a gated community with 12 armed security guards around you, Katy?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's all well and good for you to feel like that
yeah.
when you have a SWAT team at the click of your hand.
Yeah.
But I happen to live on a motel that is right next to the highway.
Yeah.
And, wherever you live in some small, like, tiny little neighborhood that's like overcrowded. You're living a different life.
Yep. Yeah, you are. Yep.
Shut up.
Yep.
Because it feels like more and more every avenue of people having fun is politicized. And that's like tearing the fabric of society away, because we're very divided. And it's like this, AFL or NFL or whatever is going to push a cause. And then musicians are pushing a cause, and actors are pushing a cause. And it's like, can't we just have some things that if you're on the left or the right, you can just like it and talk to people about it?
Yeah. And that it's okay to actually just not agree with someone on something, and it doesn't need to be an argument out of that. It's just like, oh, that's your take on it. This is my take. Move the fuck forward.
Yeah, I remember that's an interesting thing about the divide. When I was at primary school, I remember people saying, all right, today we're doing a talk on abortion. And
Primary school?
In primary school. It's like,
fuck me dead. Which primary school did you go to?
It's about year 7. Yeah, that was the Catholic way. I was
Are
like,
you for real?
yeah. It was like moral questions. That was like what our school did. And it was like, abortion, yes or no. And this chick called Amber brought off pictures of dead fetuses for real and was like, look at it. Look at it. And everyone's like, oh, shit. And she's like, abortion is evil. Like, you shouldn't do it. You're killing babies. And then she sat down and everyone's like, well researched. Well done. Then the next girl gets up and she's just like, you need to have abortion because what if, you can't look after the child? And then those two have had the most conflicting viewpoint ever. And then it's like, hey, you want to go to the canteen and play hopscotch after? Yeah. You don't go, she is a monster.
Yeah.
I will never talk to Amber again.
Yeah. Hold it against...
People will just say, oh, that's her take on that thing. It's pretty wacky. We'll move on and do something else.
Yeah.
Because life, you're not defined by your opinions on one thing.
Yeah.
But now you make one, you make one comment. I've probably made several in this, and people are, I could never hang out with that dude.
Yep.
But I like to hang out with, I like to have all kinds of, weirdos and eclectic people in my phone.
Yep. I have almost a thing, like a fetish for people that have a different opinion to me, because if they can prove to me that their opinion has more logic than my own, then there's nothing cooler to me than fucking changing my opinion. That to me feels cool to go, oh fuck, well I once believed this and then I found this out and now I don't think that at all about anything.
It is the best feeling when you find a new argument or opinion. You're like, man, this guy has got me covered.
Yeah, it's okay to be wrong as well.
Whereas some people just like, you dig in. And you go, I'm not going to, nah.
And they know they're losing, but they just can't, anyway. Fuck, what was I going to... What have you got down there? Because there's a few... Well, I wanted to ask...
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I was gonna go through some things I hate at the moment.
Can I just quickly ask, because just before you did the trans thing before... Yeah. Because I have a bit of a theory on that. This is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, conspiracy.
Now, Caitlyn Jenner's quite Republican.
Yes.
Yeah. So my theory was, because when Trump tweeted out about the trans stuff, none of it's binding at all. It was just sort of this weird thing that you just sort of...
I think it's just detracting from going after Jeff Sessions.
Yeah, do you think
he just chucked some red meat out to the base like, no trannies in the military.
They took it and they ran.
Everyone was just like, they went back to their caves like...
Yeah, they did.
They just enjoyed that for a while. And then he kind of won the argument back.
Because my first thing was when he tweeted that out, I seen it on my Twitter and I'm like, holy shit. And it was weird because there was quite a few minutes between each tweet as well. But regardless, I was like, there's going to come a moment. The next thing everyone is going to turn to, all the media is going to turn to Caitlyn Jenner and go, what are your thoughts on this? Because she's sort of the poster girl for it. And I thought, what if? Because only about a week earlier, remember all that news came out about The Rock running and Kid Rock running and then Caitlyn Jenner looking at it. And I thought, what if this could be a setup for Caitlyn Jenner to come swooping in to the Republican Party to save the day for the trans community, right? And this is all just like a coup, and it's all planned because apparently they would know each other at some point and stuff like that. Do you reckon this whole celebrity culture of getting into politics is a good thing? Because part of me goes, well, yeah, anyone should be able to go for it, but at the same time, like you just said...
I don't know, but it's like, at the same time... No, I mean, no, but who's really calling the shots? It's your chief strategist. Your deep state people that have been there since Nixon.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? So these people just say the speech and then the same White House staff just gets the job done on policy. So I don't even know how much it matters, honestly.
Me neither. I love to talk about it, but then at the same time, like you just said, you go, well, yeah, I mean, the smoking gun for me, I remember seeing when Obama first became president that there was, I don't know if it was at the inauguration or where it was, but it was a major speech that he made and someone coming up behind him and the mic was on and you could sort of hear him go to Obama, come on, tapped him on the shoulder, come on mate, you have to fucking wrap it up. He swore in it or something along those lines. And I was like, holy shit.
He's swearing to the president. That's meant to be the boss.
But just even going up to him and, wrap it up.
Come on, puppet, let's go.
Yeah.
Well, it's it is an image thing because when I was young, I grew up, saw George Bush, and it was like, this guy's a laughing stock. Americans are dumb. It's the stupidest country ever.
Yep.
These fat, dumb Americans and their racist George Bush, and he's killing people in Iraq.
Yep.
And then Obama came in, and I was like, they're back.
Savior.
People were like, he's a smart guy. And then you start to find out small stuff, and you go, he dropped the most bombs of any president. How much change was there really? It's just that this guy was a little bit more eloquent.
It was Bush.
That's it.
2.0.
He's a cool guy.
I'd have a beer with him.
And I don't really hate America. So I've never been like, I hate the United States of America.
Yep. Do you think there is a problem with. I mean, for me, like obviously the Hillary Clinton stuff. I am, you can't say it, but I will. I just was never for that at all. Knowing sort of the backstory on them, like people will think I'm crazy for this, but if you really go look into it, I think that there's a very, 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 very high percentage that Bill Clinton is a rapist and has allegedly done some pretty fucking crazy shit. He's been
You
involved.
can't allegedly for Bill and then just throw Cardinal Pell straight under the bus.
Well, I mean, okay, all right, fair enough.
You're more respectful to Bill than you are to Pell. That's all right. That's fine.
Fuck, all right,
That's fine.
you got me, Amos.
You're like, Cardinal Pell. Oh, the many rapes.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, supposedly. You know why? Because Cardinal Pell has not murdered anybody.
Yeah.
And you hear
Yeah.
those stories about the Clintons, so you're just
Well,
covering yourself.
Yeah, I think. Because that's what also scares me about doing a show like this. Like people tell, like I said,
You
at
ain't
the
going to
start,
end up with 2 gunshot wounds to the head and they'll call it a suicide like that guy in New York.
it happens,
Yeah.
and people don't want to think that it happens, and it's sort of scary that there's issues that I'd love to talk about, but I also go, well, is it in my best interest that, one, if I want to keep doing this for the rest of my life, do I want to play that game too much, or is it good for me to just start the conversation and then let other people
She's
figure
got
it
a
out?
lot more people to kill first.
Oh, yeah.
She's
for
running
sure.
out of years.
I said to a mate, I reckon it would actually be like, is it sick that I would want to be on that
On the kill
that
list?
list? Yeah, to go down as a martyr. All right, what do you got there? Bring it up.
I don't know.
What's
I
fucking
just saw
your-
this video on the plane because I flew over for
Yeah.
this. And I can't take one more tweet or video that is I can't adult.
I can't adult.
Okay, so I'm 26.
Yep.
Did we not grow up in a time where it's like funny for everyone to talk about how much they're struggling to be an adult? Like, oh, taxes. I don't know how taxes work, or changing a tire. I don't
Yeah.
know what that is. I can't man well. I don't know how to fix anything around the house. Do you notice that we do that a lot?
Yeah,
We like to
I
talk
see
down-
other people. I see other people do. I can't say I've ever said I can't adult, but
Yeah,
I
but it's
know
like
there's
I just saw this hashtag today. Hashtag struggling to adult.
struggling.
And like we do this, like we infantilize ourselves so much now, where it's like it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's like grow up and learn
Learn it.
how to do it.
Yeah.
Because I am like so unmasculine for so long. Like I'll get Dad to do it.
yeah.
You know, oh, my taxes are coming around. Dad, can you come around and have a look at this? It's like I went to bloody law school.
Yeah.
My dad works for Toll Holdings.
Yeah.
If I can't look over my tax papers, but I'm like, Dad, because dads just do everything. Like
Yeah,
dads,
yeah.
You know, that generation knows how to do everything.
Yeah.
I just think we relish so much. I don't know whether it's because have we been infantilized, we've been raised that way, do you think?
I think so, and I think it's getting worse because for me, I mean, my growing up life was a little bit different to most, but I left home pretty early. But then most of my friends around the same age group that grew up in the same society left home at about 18, 19. They couldn't wait to get out. Now I've got, I know people that I'm like, are you going to move out? And they're sort of like, well, no, like it's easy. And they're like, well, a lot of them are at university. So they'll be like, well, I don't think I'd be able to afford it because I'm at university all this time. I'm like, well, I can't afford shit either. Like it's a hustle, and yeah, maybe our lives are a little bit different, but the only way you're going to learn is to fuck up the entire time.
I'm like the opposite Gary V in that I'm like, you are every single human being worth, like everyone, there's this total thing of like, you are beautiful, you are great, you're just perfect the way you are. And the way I look at myself and I look at others and I get into, a lot of fights with it is like, you are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You know nothing.
Yep.
You are a waste of space currently.
Mm-hmm.
But if you fix these things and you work really hard,
Mhm.
you might not be a hindrance to the
Yep.
planet.
Yep.
So get into gear,
Yep.
learn how to do things, stop relying on other human beings,
Yep.
and actually take charge
Yeah.
of your life in some way, shape, or form.
And what you're talking about is not like people that don't agree with your political opinions or something like that. Like you're just talking like generally.
Just generally living.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because I was like that for so long, and you like laugh about how incapable you are, and then you hit a certain age where you go, well, how about I fix it?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
How about get fit?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than like, because I mean, that's like the bit that on radio anyway, that was my first real scandal, was like I wrote an article about fat shaming and how much it works. And
Fuck yeah. All
that.
right. That would have fucking hit the fan.
because I just couldn't, I had all these guests coming on the show where they would be like, listen, you don't need, self-improvement is a lie and you should just embrace being fat. And it's like, what, getting diabetes?
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
not being happy with the way that you look. No. And there's this, no. Society says that you look ugly. There's no such thing as ugliness. This postmodernist bullshit where like everything's made up. You can just be whoever you want to be. And it's like, no, be the best you
Yeah.
possibly can.
Yep.
And so I said, I said this line. I said something along the lines of people are as uncomfortable talking about fat people as they are laying on the bottom bunk beneath them. And I have even comedians that I know were like, dude, that's so wrong. Like, I can't believe you would come after people like that. And that's when I wanted to know from you, have you noticed that the comedy community, who should really be nihilists or
I was just
not
about
give
to
a
say
fuck,
that, yeah.
you know, like for me, it's just try and be funny over everything.
Yeah.
Like, there is no sacred cow. I want people to destroy me.
Yeah.
I think everyone should be made fun of.
Yeah.
Everything should
Yeah.
be mocked.
Yeah.
And now comedians are becoming the people who police speech more than anybody else.
Yep. I
It's
totally.
places like this, like all my peers that I grew up in, and I still respect and love them, are so anti freedom of speech. Because like, that joke's punching down. There's just punching.
Punching.
In my
Yep.
opinion. Like
Yep.
Dave Chappelle, have you seen his
Yep.
in trouble for
Yep.
that trans
Yep.
joke?
Yep.
The joke is, I think we should have trans people in the military because imagine how freaked out ISIS is going to be
Yeah.
when a big dude with a beard and titties comes running over the hill.
Fucking oath.
And like the point of that joke is that, you know, if we feel bigoted about trans people, imagine how ISIS must feel.
Yeah.
They'd be terrified. They'd be like,
Yeah.
they're mutating. That was the joke. And now people, you know, there's magazines like Dave Chappelle, he's out of touch. Dave Chappelle. And other comedians I saw on my page today were like, he's not funny anymore. He's a bigot. It's like, do you not just see that for
okay,
a joke?
Yeah, I think it's eating itself up. It's like it's because to me the reason that I wanted to be a comedian was because I listened to people like George Carlin and Bill Hicks and stuff like that, Bill Burr, all these people that said things that I was like, to me, I might have not even agreed with what they said, but I took enjoyment out of going, fuck, he said something he's not supposed to say, and it was funny, okay? Like, it's okay to do that. I mean,
But my point is, when I was saying earlier
Yeah.
about the counterculture is now
Yeah.
the mainstream culture,
Yeah.
and the old culture,
Yeah.
is
Yeah, I
you know,
agree.
counterculture. So, is that being reflected in comedians?
Yes.
Probably. I think it is with some, but with a lot of them, I don't think it is.
It's but
Like
what,
you go to a comedy club now, people are like, I think gays should be married, and you know, 5-6 years ago, people were like, oh, he's got a good gay marriage, but you know, he's really having a go at the church for holding it back.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, this is not groundbreaking anymore.
No.
We all get it. As much as we all hate the government for not legalising it, it's a little bit more dangerous to have a conservative opinion now than it is.
Yeah,
the other way.
100%. I've sat there and I know I've got some opinions that are maybe a little bit conservative, and I've sat around going, well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Just not because I'm scared to
I wouldn't
say
even
it.
say
but
conservative because I actually hate the word conservative.
Me too.
For me, it's more like it's just just
Not the mainstream
threatening-
narrative.
yeah, threatening the mainstream thing. And before we get to go soon, but I think it's important to say, and I wanted to bring this
Yeah.
up with you as well. So when people talk about mainstream media and fake news and stuff,
Yeah.
you always look at that and you think it's malicious. Do you go, oh, you know, they've got an agenda?
Yeah, but just I want to quickly, because it's very easy, and I found myself doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had to stand back and go, well, just be careful here for a second. It's very easy to just blame the mainstream
Yeah,
media
yeah, yeah.
out flat and go, they're all lies. This is all an agenda.
I've got a theory though as
Okay.
to why that narrative gets pushed, right?
Uh-huh.
Is because so when I do my job,
I hope it's what I think it is.
every morning I get given a massive piece of paper, it's like trending stories.
Yep.
And you'll see the stories and you look at it and you get like this headline. And the reality is that most people who work in morning television or panel shows or breakfast radio, whatever, are late. Like you're getting up at 4. You're a little bit lazy. You probably haven't read, like there's this Google thing where the guy talked about diversity. The diversity program is wrong in Google.
Mm-hmm.
And the headline that I read the other morning was, Google staffer says women are inferior to men in tech.
Yep.
So that was the headline.
Yep.
So I look at that headline. I don't know where it started from, but it makes its way down to me in Adelaide. And I go, whoa, this guy from Google says women are genetically inferior to men in tech. It's pretty full on. But it's a 10-page document that I didn't read that you
Yeah.
go and look at, and all he says is that the female brain and the male brain are different, and men, by and large, there seems to be more geniuses in tech. Google's the best company, so more geniuses are obviously going to be male in that company because they're hiring the best. It doesn't mean that women can't be good at tech. It just means there's an over proportion of men who are good at tech, right?
Yep.
So I look at that and then I'll go, I can't believe this guy from Google. What a bigot. But I haven't read the 10-page report.
Yep.
No one, Koshy hasn't read the 10-page report.
Yeah.
Carl hasn't read the 10-page
Yep,
report.
yep,
He's
yep.
read 2 lines because
Yep.
you're lazy and you're
Yep,
tired.
yep.
And you go, what's my take on this? And it just, then that gets repeated.
Yep.
And then people hear me say that and then they go, yeah, I heard Amos say this morning, this guy from Google said women are inferior in
Yep.
tech. It's like, but the report never said that.
Yep.
And so that's where the fake news comes from.
Yep. No. Oh, sorry.
And so the last one is, you remember Sonia Kruger when she got in trouble?
Yes. Yep.
It's like, if you have a conservative opinion over a liberal opinion, so you got two dumb people.
Yep.
You put them on a panel show, and there's been a bombing.
Mhm.
The dumb person who is quite left-leaning
Yep.
will say, you know, the answer to this is love.
Mm.
You know, it's love, man. We got to love each other.
Yep.
And everyone will go, "Oh,
Sounds
he sounds
nice.
dumb, but it's really nice and well done."
Yep.
Sonia Kruger is also about to make a dumb point.
Yep.
But Sonia says, I'm scared for my kids. Maybe we need an immigration ban. Now, both of those are dumb opinions.
Mm.
And yet, one person, they try and pillory off the television.
Yep.
So why would you ever get any TV heads saying anything that doesn't go with the public grain? Because it's just so easy
Mm.
to just keep getting your money and going, you know what? I just think that human beings need to respect each other. You've said nothing.
Yep. Yep.
You said absolutely nothing, and yet people will give you a clap. But if you try and address a problem, that's where it's a grey area, and you need to be like a PhD to
Yep.
trap through that minefield. It's like Shapiro's the only one
Yep.
who seems to get away
Yeah.
scot-free.
Yeah, he does, but because he has an eloquent argument, I have the same thing because I used to think, they're all this big cabal and they're all in on it together and they're all sitting around going, how can we trick them next?
exactly.
And that's not how it works, and it's never worked that way. But in saying that, there are, I think the Australian media is a tiny bit different to American media, although most of it's still owned by the same cunt, who Clive Palmer's fucking running hard at. It's going to be, he hates Rupert
The
Murdoch.
grog dog.
Yeah, yeah.
The poet.
Yeah, what a poet, what a guy.
Vanilla slice. Slice is nice. Eat a frog. Drink some grog.
Tim Tam
Do a
Slam.
bog.
Yeah. He doesn't do that. It's got to be like a nephew or
Who
something.
do you
like
reckon
that.
is doing? Who is doing it?
I don't know. I went to
Can
school.
you? That is a conspiracy. Who is behind Clive Palmer's tweets?
Well, he does these videos now, and he'll film it, and whoever's filming it will press record, and then you'll hear it say go, and then he starts acting.
Clive, go.
Yeah. But the
Wouldn't it be great if they were all scripted as well?
Oh yeah,
You
I
found
know.
out he was actually writing a script for. So what do I say? So I say I go to this piece of tape on the ground, and then I say grog, dog, frog, vanilla slice, Tim Tam. All right, I got it.
He just wanted to be the greatest actor of all time, and in the next
Shoot
6
it.
months, he's going to realise, it's not for me. The American media, though, that's the interesting one because there's a thing. I don't know if you ever looked into Project Paperclip or Operation Paperclip. I forget which term it is at the start, but they had a congressional meeting over it, and it's declassified CIA documents. But at the time, and they believe this is still happening, always has been happening. The CIA were basically infiltrating the media with operatives that were journalists. Anderson
Really?
Cooper is and used to be a CIA agent. They always say once
Really?
you're in, you go look into this. Yeah, yeah.
He's a CIA agent.
used to be, even
Really?
admitted on TV. Yeah, but they say once you're in, you're never out. You just don't work for
You
them
don't
anymore.
change that programming anymore.
Well, not
from
that.
when they-
Not that. It's just you know too much. You know
Right.
too much, and if you don't work for them anymore, you're a contractor or something. But it all came out that the main 4 media stations had to get up in front of Congress and say at one time there was CIA operatives that worked for the media.
So you hear that in America and you buy that, but here you just couldn't imagine that
imagine it.
ASIO could be asked.
No, but I don't.
Imagine
I-
finding out Koshy was an operative.
Yeah.
Oh, do a bit of work for ASIO. I've got a joke book and I like Port Adelaide. It's like
Nah, it doesn't.
seem because everything's low stakes here. That's what I found is like you have the whatever culture wars going on here, and it's like the culture war exists in BuzzFeed and Q&A. That's
Yeah.
all we've got.
Yeah.
And then you go to America, and it's like it's the next level. Like you meet people over there. My cousin is dating a girl right now, and this is how I met her. She was like, "Hey, I'm Donna, and I'm a feminist. I'm a socialist, and you're gonna have to deal with that." It's like, so that identity politically is so important to them that it's like that's the opening line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas Australia, no one. Apathy will always be our friend.
Yes.
In some ways.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think at the same time we don't necessarily need ASIO or anyone like that in the media to push it here because we don't really run anything anyway. I don't think. I really think at the end of the day, when you look at our government, whoever's in, if America or the deep state, whoever runs
Whoever that is.
says so, then that's what it is. And it's a coalition, and it's basically us versus the rest. And have you we'll sort of end in a second, but it is coming to an end, this agenda or whatever's been playing out over the last fucking 200, 300 years, that eventually there will come a time where either we will conquer the world or the others will conquer the world.
Do you mean the androids?
Well,
If Elon Musk
that's a deep...
is to be believed, but you know.
That's a deep one, but...
We are the cocoon, and the android is the butterfly. And we've been put on this planet to get smart enough to build AI so that it can take over.
What if we are AI? What if we're
like what?
AI creating AI?
Well, let's get a knife and I'll cut you now. So wise in there.
No, I did...
Josh Wade, podcaster,
yeah.
was murdered in his hotel room.
By ASIO operative famous skill.
Skill,
All
who
right.
stabbed him from the inside to see if he had that white blood like an alien.
I think that's a good way to wrap it up. But Amos...
Well,
yeah,
God, I had so many more things I wanted to talk to you about. But
Well-
we'll have to do this again sometime.
well, oh, fuck yeah. I think people are going to fucking get
if
around
this is even, will this even go? North Korea's probably blown us all up.
I think we need a... I think we
gonna be
need our own podcast for
Could be a
this.
thermonuclear war that soaks us in.
I don't think North Korea can do shit. I think that's a boogeyman. They're
He-
just Osama bin Laden as a country.
He's just the greatest shit talker ever. I just want him and Trump to meet. I just think they would get on. What level of video views would that get? If you found out President Trump met with Kim Jong Un, they played a round of golf, they all hit 18 hole-in-ones, and then they fucked in a weapon silo, and Kim Jong Un was just sitting there like gagging on Trump's dick. If that doesn't beat Gangnam Style, what will?
Nah, nothing. And Kris Jenner's sitting in the back of the room going, fuck yes, they're going to be the new Kardashians.
Because he was totally today. He's fire and fury. Did you hear that, Donald Trump?
Yeah, I showed...
Fire and fury.
Like the world's never
It
seen.
was like the world has never seen.
But he's at the table with his arms crossed like this, like just a cranky...
Yeah, it's just like someone talking shit. Like oh dude, someone was saying something about you at this party. I'm going to give him one of the beltings.
The biggest.
The biggest belting this schoolyard has ever seen. He's going down.
Amos,
then-
what do you got coming up, mate?
Mate, I have got breakfast radio.
Yeah.
And
Streaming online.
as an operative,
yeah.
I'll be pushing quite a few agendas. And there's nothing wrong with the banks. Interest rates are great. What else is the line? What's the company line? Hillary Clinton should have been the president of the United
She should have.
States.
What happened?
Patriarchy is evil.
Mm.
And white people, you've had enough to say.
I think so. Amos Gill, thanks for joining us on the show, mate. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Josh.
Good chat.